This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So to practice, what are the things we need, and how do we use our accounts with a minimum bill, and what are the things we need to know in the portal to manage things? I'm going to talk about all basic things today. Technical discussions will start from tomorrow. Today, we will see how we can create a free subscription and how we can use it, like once it is created, and what are the things you need to know as part of the portal to manage any profile. In fact, not only SQL DB, the kind of interacting with the services is same for any profile. So we're going to see that all of that, what we need to know towards managing the services that we have in the Azure portal. Let's follow it. First, Microsoft is recommending just to have their email IDs. Actually, you can create, free subscription with your Gmail account also, but their recommendation, use one of their email IDs: hotmail.com, live.com, msn.com, outlook.com kind of. If you don't have it, you can create one and use it, or else you can use your current email ID, any email ID for that matter. It is a Yahoo email ID or Gmail email ID, whatever it is, you can use it. But the recommendation is use their one of their email ID. It's a recommendation, it's not mandatory, but it's up to you whether you follow the recommendation or not. Next, we must have a credit card for creating the free subscription and practicing it. I'm going to tell you all the tricks. Though you practice entire month, your bill will not exceed 400 rupees or $10 for US guys. I'm going to tell all that. You have to follow that. If you don't follow, you'll unnecessarily get the bill. But I'll tell you all the tricks how you can really actually control the bill, unnecessary bills. So let's go and create the free subscription. Before I create a free subscription, let me create an Outlook account. So if you don't have it, assume a case, I wanted to start right from the beginning, right? I didn't get the link. So basically, a link won't change, guys. I'm getting a lot of pings just for the link itself. Come on, please. Sorry. Right. So we wanted to create a free subscription, right? Azure free subscription. So just type that, and you go to the first link, whatever it is showing. So here, just type Azure free subscription and this one. Before that, I wanted to create Outlook. Sorry, Outlook account. Create Outlook account. Quickly, I'll use this account to subscribe the free subscription. We'll see that entire process. So if someone doesn't have it, you can create it. If not, you can use your Gmail ID. Is absolutely fine. But let's follow the steps. So I'm going to create one Outlook account. So straight away, create account. So I'm going to use one of the account, Ravinder B300, something like that. So I'm going to use this email ID for creating the free subscription. Okay. Right. So give your day of month, date of birth details and all that. Right. Right. It will ask you to, you're not a robot kind of, so you have to just verify yourself. Please pick the elephant, right? So it is asking where you have the elephant. So here is the elephant, and it did the verification that you are not a robot. Next it will sign me in, right? So now the account is ready to use for creating the free subscription. Okay. So I'm going to use this account, ravinder.b301 outlook.com, to create the free subscription. Let's sign out this. Now you have your own Outlook account. Just assume a case. Now I'm going to use this account for creating the free subscription. So how do I get the free subscription? Just go to Google browser, Azure free account. Just you can create that. The first link, what you're getting in the first link, just open that link. You get the option to create the free account. So I included the steps here anyway. Like once you load it here, you click on the start and then it will go to the next screens and all that. So click on the start. Before I start, I'll read through few questions you all definitely would have in your mind. So when you create a free account, which is free for 1 month, basically, in fact, you can use any service with that free credits what they are giving. For US guys, you get $200 credit per 1 month, for first initial month practice. For Indians, they do get 13,300 rupees something, which is equivalent to $200 basically. And that credit's only valid for first month. For entire month, you can use any service. So don't create the service to accounts today. I'll tell you when to create, because we will get into tomorrow a lot of into practicals. And first tomorrow we'll go through the lot of technical discussions, dependencies and all that. Therefore tomorrow we'll go into deeply deploying the services. So better don't create today, but just have an idea. I'll share this video anyway. It is recording. So when you create if your free subscription, you do get to $200 credit as a free credits, and you can use it for creating any service that you wanted. In fact, so once the 1 month is over, you have to turn into pay as you go to create further paid services basically. So once you turn into pay as you go, you can create whatever service you wanted with a bill that it is going to generate, but you have to control it. How do you control? I'm going to tell that. Absolutely can control. So you have to follow all my suggestions and all that. Some services are free for 12 months, in fact. So these services actually you cannot use for a lot of practices. The services are very small in nature. You cannot use the 12 months free services for a lot of practicals or R&Ds that we're going to do. So anyway, what are the free, services which are free for 12 months? We're going to see that. We will find it out. Okay. So now I'm going to go and click start free. Okay. Then we'll go through it. Start free. Then it will take us through the account creation process basically. Okay. Right. So now I'm going to use the same account what I have created. Ravinder B301 outlook.com @outlook.com. Right. And use the same password that you have used for that account. Right. So now it will take me through the login process. I mean the account creation process. I've used it, so it'll be there will be a 4-step process to create a free subscription. So it will ask you your country or origin, first name, last name, right? And your email address anyway given during the sign up, right? And the phone number. Phone number must be a valid one. You have to give absolutely valid one, and then you'll get a message or call to confirm that. Okay. So please do not enter country code. Okay, we did not enter anyway. So now I'm going to use text me. So it will give me OTP to verify my mobile number. So yeah, I got it. So you have to give your working number, of course, so they don't misuse. No need to worry about that. You have to use the current working one because you have to verify the OTP, right? So which definitely need an active number, right? Verify the code. It does the verification. Then it goes to the personal details and all that, and it is asking me my profile anyway. It is done, right? So next, if I go to here, organization self, keep it self, and PAN optional, address you can give it your own address. Then you agree the terms, hit next. Then it will take you to the next page. So you click on the start free, and then it will ask you account, and then you give the account, and then it will ask 4 steps. About is over, and identify the phone is also over. Next, identify the card. So you have to give your card details basically. So here it will ask, the next step. Here it is. So when I don't want to give my credit card details on the video, basically it is getting recorded, right? So I don't want to give all that. You can give it actually when you're doing it. Okay, identify the card. In the next step it will come. So when it comes to that step, you have to give your credit card details, all the details. No need to worry, they don't misuse at all. It is a Microsoft, so it is a company which is well known around the world, right? So they don't misuse your details. You just have to enter your details. Once you enter details, then your account will be activated after exactly 48 hours. Sometimes 48 hours, sometimes within 1 hour, sometimes after 2 3 hours, depends on the Microsoft technicians availability. They do activate your account basically. So these are the 4 steps, guys. First you have to, it'll run through. There is no much complexity to do this. First, you have to give your details, then your mobile number, then credit card, then 4th step, sign up, agree the terms and conditions, and sign up. Once you submit that, it takes 1 hour to 48 hours in between to activate your account. Once it is activated, what and all we need to know? That's the next discussion. So I'm going to use my account, which is activated. So these are all steps to create a free subscription. Okay. So now I'm going to use my personal account to show that. Okay, still loading. Right. If anyone faces issue, then I'll connect one-on-one also. If when you're creating the account, if you're seeing some problem, we will connect and then sort it out. Not an issue. Just follow that 4-step process. Right, when your account is loaded, it looks like this. First, you have to go to your subscription to see that your status of your subscription. It will show as an active. When it is active, you can do anything that you wanted basically. Right. So what just happened? It's not showing my subscription details. It should show here. Just let me see. If I'm trying to create some services. Yeah, I do have services. Anyway, you'll find your subscription here. The status of subscription will be shown here. Okay. Then you can use that subscription. The status should be active basically. Now, so what and all we need to know? Just try to follow this. So we have a lot of options you see at the top bar, and you see the left side also a lot of options. So how do you use all of them? It's very important to know how to use them. Search any service that you are looking for, any service that you wanted as part of your profile. You don't know how to find, you don't know how to find that service. You have to go there here and then type it virtual. So example, virtual machine I wanted to create, virtual network I wanted to create. Whatever the service is starting with that name, it will pull up all the services in the drop down. Okay. This way you can easily find whatever the services you're trying to look for basically, right? So it's not tough to find any service. Just go to this quick search bar and then you can try to look at. If I go to SQL services, if I wanted SQL related, all SQL related services will be pulled out in the drop down. You see this one, it is searching all the services which have the skill in it. So this way, this is so useful for us to find any service that you are not finding it. So we can easily find in many ways basically, but this is the first thing where you can use it to find service if you don't know how to reach it. So if I wanted to create a database, I will click on this. I can create the database straight away. So I can find the service which I'm looking for. So free subscription, right? Free services we talked about, 12 months free. So free services, you can find anything that you wanted from here. So services for 12 months with Azure free account. So these are all free. You can create a virtual machine, you can create a Unix machine, but which will have 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM, right? And it will be 750 hours free. After 750 hours, yes, you do get the bill if you create the machine, even the small machine also. So these are all very tiny in nature. You cannot use all these for a lot of practices, what we're going to see in our class. We need little bigger services to experience the real world. So that's what these services are not much really helpful for practicing it. Right, this quick search bar is something, is anything that you really look at, so you can easily look at it and find it. So gateway, example, I'm typing gateway, wherever the gateway is involved, you find that kind of services, right? So this is a quick service and quick search bar where you, whatever the service you wanted. and this is called Cloud Shell. Using the Cloud Shell, you have the Bash Shell, you have the PowerShell. So we're going to talk both basically. We have a discussion Bash Shell. I'm going to dedicate one class, entire one class for creating the Unix machine and automating, talking to the Unix machine using the Cloud Shell, or talking to the cloud machine using the PowerShell. So we have the discussions right now. I'm skipping this, and Active Directory. I'm going to skip this one as well. I'm going to build on-prem Active Directory. I'm going to show that how do we migrate on-prem Active Directory to cloud and use those accounts with the on-prem accounts passwords. So how the real time will, the users will migrate to cloud. We're going to see that in practical. I'm going to show that how we can integrate the accounts with the services, how we can control the permissions, identity management. That is a different topic for us. These two I don't talk today because they are two big topics, and we will discuss in respective modules. These two, icons, what you see here. The bell symbol. This bell symbol is everything for us, basically. Whatever you deploy, whatever you create, whatever you update, everything will get recorded under here. And if someone deleted a service, and no one is accepting who deleted, we can find it here. It is like a events. Every event that you generate in the cloud, we will find in the event history, basically. So whatever the services I created, there will be last 6 hours. No, I don't want to go with the last 1 month. I wanted to see what and all I have created in the last 1 month. It is loading. See, every single action that I have done, it is going to record. Any service you are modifying, who modified it, who deleted it, who created it, at what time, with what account. Everything will be traced out. No one can delete their log from here. We can easily find people who did wrong, kind of. It's taking too long. Okay, generally don't take too long, but anyway, sometimes services, come on, will be slow. You have to bear with that. Sometimes it will be slow. Maybe I did a lot of operations, right? See this? These are all operations I've done in the last month, right? I'm going to talk about this. No need to worry. I intentionally do the things. I'll show that how you can read it and find it who did wrong on what services, kind of. We're going to see that. But this is very, very important for us. If I create any service directly does not come online. It takes some time to get provisioned. During the provision status, when it is provisioned, it will tell you that it is under deployment. If it is successful, it will tell you it is successful. It is failure. What reason it is failure? You can find the reasons. We can work on it to fix that reason also. We will see that. Then this gear symbol is your profile. So when I logged into the portal, it logged me like this. This is how it was. So let me log off and log in again. Just look at it how it look like when I log in, basically. So by default, your profile will be loaded with certain format. That format you define under setting. So I'm logging off and logging in. When I'm logging in, where I'm landing actually, I'm landing into my default page. The default page where I define under settings. So if I'm logging here, let me show you. See here, this is the page it is loaded. Why it is loaded? Because I kept it under setting, basically. Okay. So under appearance here, I kept fly out and docked. If I keep it fly out and apply, this left side window will be gone. If I apply, see, it is gone. If I wanted it, I have to click on this burger symbol. You see this one? You get this option, amber symbol. If you look at this, you get all these options. Again, if I click anywhere, it will be gone. So how you wanted to, make it your portal look and feel? It is like your desktop configuration kind of thing. If I keep it docked, that services always will be appeared at the left side. This is flyout docked means like that. Directories. If you have multiple, Active Directories, to which Active Directory you wanted to switch it, you can switch it if your client is really working with the multiple Active Directories. So I created a lot of directories for the discussions anyway to migrate from on-prem to cloud. See, for every class I created different domain, and then I've shown that how we can migrate on-prem Active Directory to the cloud Active Directory and use the people from that cloud Active Directory to integrate with the services. That is a different story altogether for us. Okay. So for now, Active Directory anyway, you will have a default which is company provided one. You don't create your own. In the real world as a DBA, you don't create. You use it what company is given. Appearance, we have just seen that fly out and docked. Dock means the services will be sticked out left side. If I keep it fly out, it will be like minimized, and when you click on that symbol, it will open up. And theme, and what color of background you wanted. So if I go to blue, if I apply, so it is getting changed. The entire theme is getting changed. If I go to light, the color is getting changed as you change it. So which color you really like, go for it. I do use personally the default one. And the dark mode, some people use this, they like it. So it's up to them what they do like, kind of, right? So if you look at any service, everything will look in the dark mode. Okay, I don't like this personally, so I use only the default one. So it's up to you. I mean, what you wanted, what color you wanted in the background, you can set it. Then contrast always use none only, but anyway I'll show you that how when you enable the contrast, each service is, it's underlined italic kind of thing. It is black again, so entire things will block like this. So you define what you wanted. It's your personal choice how your portal want to be look like, right? You can check it. All right, startup. When you wanted to, like when you logged into the portal, where you wanted to land in. You wanted to land in home directory, you wanted to land in dashboard. Generally, we land into the dashboard, so we can build our own custom dashboards. We can monitor a database metrics entirely, what's going on in the database. And like we will build our own graphs and we'll place that graphs under our dashboards. We will monitor that critical database from the dashboard itself to troubleshoot. Basically, it will be easy anyway. So we will see it. Right. So home anyway, it is a dynamic. It's not a dynamic, it is static. Some services are all be displayed here. What are the recent services you accessed? And these are all ready-made options. You click on the SQL database, it will take you the SQL service. And there are limited service will be shown by default here. I don't use this home page personally. Anyway, okay. We will see the dashboard. I did not come this side yet. But anyway, if you wanted to all the time to be in the dashboard, select this one. And then your active directory, these are all a lot of directories you have it. What is your default active directory? What is your company given? You select it. Okay, that way you can define your own dashboard. Language and region, portal is made a lot of language. Basically, some people don't speak English, right? Certain people, if you go to Japan, China, they don't speak, they do speak English, but they prefer to keep things in the regional language. For them, the Microsoft portal created in their own language. Okay, don't change this one unless until you don't understand this, right? It's respective people who really can understand that language, they can change it, but by default all Indians can understand English. So let's go with the English itself. Your information and signing out. This is very important, guys. When you logged into the portal and you're not doing anything on your browser, it should log you off automatically after 15 minutes. I do recommend, don't go with the never. There's something called never. It will cache your credentials on the browser. When you hit portal.azure.com, it will load your account automatically. If you don't lock your laptop, someone gets access to your account, they can destroy anything with your account. As a SQL DBAs, we get the access to create the VMs, to destroy the VMs also. If someone delete a VM, you're gone. See, if you're deleting a VM from the cloud, nothing can protect it. You have a protection levels. Anyway, they wanted to delete intentionally, they can delete with all the rights. We're going to see that. I'm going to show in live how VMs can be protected against the deletion and how we can delete it. And you are working in the on-prem, the VM is provisioned, the product is installed, a lot of connections are going, the operations are going, but still with a single click away, the entire server can be deleted. It does not look for what's going on within the VM. There is a danger, better to log yourself out of the browser after 15 minutes. I do recommend. Why? Because if you don't unlock your laptop and you're going away, still after 15 minutes inactiveness on your browser, it will log you out automatically, so that you can come back and then give the credential and work on it, kind of. I do recommend 15 minutes. I keep it myself also 15 minutes. These are all your personal configuration, guys. How you set up yourself when the account is given. It should be done by you. It's no one will come and tell you how you want it to be your portal. Basically, they'll give you an account. That's it, and you have to define how you want it, right? Then come to this one. This is very, very important for us. So now a lot of things you cannot actually control in the cloud. Why? Because you don't have a control on the infrastructure. Infrastructure is completely with the Microsoft. If the VM is not rebooting, you try to restart, it hung in between and there is no response. Whom do we contact for that? You don't have a Hyper-V team to check what's going on the ESX host level. You don't have a choice. Here, you only raise the case to the Microsoft. My VM got hung with a high priority one, and they'll troubleshoot, and they make it up basically. But you have to approach the Microsoft. How do you raise a case to the Microsoft? Let's talk about that. We will go to the Microsoft for many reasons, in fact, because we don't have the control and the backend infrastructure. So we had to raise a case very frequently and many things. Basically, initially we used to raise a lot of cases. Nowadays we are not raising. But anyway, okay, go to help and support, right? You have the option create support request. You see this one, create support request. When you click on the this question mark, you get the help and support. When you click on this, you land into this page. Now I wanted to create a support request. Click on this. There will be four categories to create this case basically. But as a technician, we always go to the technical category. We don't care about subscription management, subscription limits, and billing. Billing is something, guys. Good. Let's go with it. Example, you created your own account. After 1 month, your credits are expired. You turn into pay as you go. You created a big server and you forgot to destroy. It generated a lot of bill, assume a case, maybe $30 bill, $50 bill. For Indians, maybe 3 to 4,000 bill, assume a case. If it happens, you can claim once. Everyone can claim the bill once. If it is gone out of your control, you cannot pay it, that big $50 bill or 3 to 4,000 bill. You cannot pay the personal, you are exploring the Azure cloud, right? So you cannot pay 3 to 4,000 per one single month practice. So if it happens by mistake, raise one single case without asking questions, they'll reimburse that amount for every individual at least once. At least once they'll do it. If you go to second time, they'll look at the what is the usage you're doing, your activity. They might accept, they might not accept for reimbursing that bill. But for every individual, they will reimburse at least once. They'll consider it because you write it here, billing issue. So I am new to Azure and I got huge bill which I cannot pay as an individual or not. As an individual, something you just write something like that to understand them also. So write something like that. So that's enough for them to understand. They look at it. They have every details what you're trying to do, right? They have all the details with them. So may your refund request you go for next, and then recommended solutions. I mean, I'll tell you this. This is very important for everyone. Maybe it will help you someday because you forgot to destroy the services and you have to pay too much money. That is not something you cannot afford. Then you can go for it. So at what time you started your subscription, and then hours, just give random and your time zone and refund amount that you are looking for, and a reason for refund, right? Other, keep it other, and then give that, provide the reason, the same reason that you written. And here, I'm a new learner. I created my subscription few days ago or few months ago, but I forgot to destroy the services, which led to a lot of bill which I cannot afford to pay personally. Can you please reimburse so that I can make sure that this won't happen again? You write that kind of message here, okay? Then hit next, and then next finish. You will absolutely get the amount. This has happened with me and with many of my students. I have guided, they got the money back. So once at least. I don't guarantee that third time, second time you'll get it, but one time you'll get it. Okay? Just keep in mind, this will help you someday, right? Because you forget and then you have to get reimbursed. But anyway, as a technical guy, you never get into that category in the real world. It's a personal. That's why I discussed about billing. How do you get reimbursed? But as a technical guys, we do raise cases under technical category always. Okay. Under technical category, what is the problem with what service? All the services are listed in the drop down. So SQL database, you have the issue with the SQL database, select the SQL database. So you have the SQL database. And what is the problem? So intermittent disconnectivity, something. Intermittent connectivity issues. Okay, something. So it is related to, you have to go with the C. You have to pick up the right category. It will go to the right people. You get the immediate solution. If you choose the wrong category means they have to transfer the case to the right people again, and they'll take their own SLA, and that will be delayed. The more accurate, the quicker the response from them, right? So problem time and dropped connections, because it's disconnecting intermittently. That's what. Right. So here, there are a lot of solutions they do give to solve your problem. Like if you wanted to follow this, you can really go to, and then, like you just open the link. It will take you through a lot of troubleshooting steps. What are the things you can do? What are the issues it happens in the background? If you wanted to go through the documentation and resolve yourself, go with it. Okay. They're given a lot of documentation, but I don't have time. It's a production. People are complaining. I cannot wait for it. I don't want to explore personally. Go to next and raise a case. So as an evidence, always keep the screenshot for anything. The screenshots are the really good information for them, basically. You write the description. We have a production database, production SQL database, which is actually giving intermittent connectivity issues to the clients, and they are keep escalating on us. And this is a production. During the production time, we are seeing this. Please fix it permanently, to not to get further escalations. Write down something, make it, understand them. What's the problem you are facing? It. The description is very important, guys, especially. The description will tell them that what really you wanted from them. The subject line will tell that just an idea, but description will give the entire information to them. You have to explain what's going on and why you are raising this case, basically what is lagging and what is actually the problem and all that. You have to write in detail about your issue, basically. Give the data roughly. It's not, no need to be accurate, but at least roughly, so that within that window they'll verify it, what you're happening for you, basically. Connection drop. We cannot troubleshoot connection dropouts. We don't have that logs information with us. It is only with the Microsoft. That is a problem here. You had to raise a case most of the time if to get that, though you know that how to read and understand, but you don't have logs with you to read. You have the Microsoft only. They have it. They can read it. That way they can give a better solution. So you give the start date and give some time and time zone, and then write the description, attach the screenshot whatever you have seen, and advanced diagnostic information, and then they'll connect with the phone. What do you wanted? Is it a critical? Is it a moderate? Is it a minimal impact? It is a critical production impacted. So then they'll call you straight away after it within 15 minutes. So how quickly they respond to your request is something. I did not fill out all this. You can fill out when you really it happens, and then it go through. Hit next and then submit the case. It'll go to the Microsoft. So one more thing we need to know, guys, how quickly Microsoft can help you with your case depends on your support plans. There are multiple support plans. Each company can, claim for it. So I'll just minimize this for better visibility. Come on, right? Support plans. There are four different, in fact, five different support plans we do have, which is a basic. By default, all our accounts under basic only. Okay. Nowadays they are not accepting under premier. My account is created few years ago, not now. So because I do explore anything that I have to do in the production in my personal account first. I'll look at it, how it really works, what is the functionality of a new service, how it really works. Anything that comes as a new configuration, I explore personally in my subscription. Then I go to the business, I'll explain them, I deploy it kind of. First, I need to explore. So anything that comes as a new requirement and we had to deploy. I'm part of the engineering. So any new feature comes up, we'll explore and then we give it to the business. That's what the job I do as a, I mean, I work on the technical issues also, which are escalations, but not in basic in nature, basically. Anyway, that's leave our part. So basic subscription, which will not cost you anything at all. And you all be part of this. Okay, when you create your personal subscription, you all be part of the basic subscription and basic support model. Here there is no bill, but they don't give an SLA. Okay, it will be answered within 48 hours, but they're not committing you next 1 hour, next 2 hours kind of. 48 hours you have to wait for it for their reply. You cannot go and demand that I'm not getting a response from you. I raised the case and it happened for 24 hours already and there is no response. You cannot go and question them because you're not paying it anything here. You're not paying. So you have to wait for it. 48 hours. Within 48, they'll respond within 2-3 hours also, but they don't have a strict SLA to follow up to 48 hours. Whatever the case you raise it, you have to wait till they come back. But anyway, they'll come back within 48 hours. That's the minimum. Developer. If you are company exploring, just exploring, that is what I said in the beginning in the demo. Some companies they don't need cloud services. Still, they wanted to explore the cloud services to know about them beforehand, before they implement it. Every company are asking, maybe you all are experienced, I guess. Even we asked in the beginning when before we implement the cloud, they gave us the free subscriptions, they gave the corporate subscriptions, some like credits to us every month, and then they used to ask us to explore this and explore that kind of. We used to do that. And developer edition is something you will pay only $29 per month, and you will get the good support from them. Basically there is an SLA of 8 hours. You raise a case, within 8 hours they'll someone will come to you and assist you where you blocked kind of. So whenever you are just trying to move to the cloud and you are exploring the services, the best support plan is developer, which comes at cheaper cost in fact, right? So that you can raise a case, you can get their attention within 8 hours and get it moved. Instead of waiting for 48 hours, it came down to 8 hours SLA, right? Next, standard. When you wanted to make it something production, I mean it's not completely production, but you deployed all the applications, all the uh, databases, and you are making the connections, and you are breaking somewhere and you wanted immediate resolution, go to standard or professional direct. Professional direct people, they do design your application structure also, they do charge a lot, but these people really help in many ways in fact. Under professional support plan, if you don't know how do you migrate, if you don't know how do you interconnect the services in the Azure, they will give you end-to-end solution, but you have to pay. Whether you take their services, you don't take it, you have to pay this amount for sure. $1,000, which is a 78,700 in Indian currency now, right? So this is very high cost anyway. So, but anyway, this is something. When you are under development phase and you are absolutely blank and no one got trained and someone need from the Microsoft to help you out, you go for it. Professional direct, they'll come to you. I mean, they don't physically come, but they'll connect over the Zoom calls. They'll tell you and guide you how you have to migrate your services, and what is the approach, what is the step you have to build. They will guide on that, but it is too costly, right? Unnecessary cost. uh, Big companies they do it, but for personal you cannot do it. And premier is the one every company will subscribe in the corporates. What is a premier means? See, if you look at the SLAs, here 8 hours, here 1 hour, here also 1 hour, but they'll give the guidance. Here only the support and with $100. Here guidance with $1,000. See the difference? Huge difference. Premier is different altogether. Within 15 minutes, you'll get the response if it is a critical. So under Premier, all the companies will subscribe here. You raise a case, then you get the bill. You don't raise a case, you don't get the bill. So man hours, here man hours will be calculated. If Microsoft technician is engaged for 1 hour, 2 hour, 10 hours, Based on that, you will get the bill at the end of the month. Okay, so this is something people in the real world will subscribe under premier support model, and you get the 15 minutes SLA. Within 15 minutes, one of the Microsoft technician will engage with you to resolve your issue, which something good, right? Definitely good, because for production workloads, you raise a case, you cannot wait for longer time because business is down. Someone need to assist you within short time and resolve it, and business should come online. So everybody go to the premier support model in the real world. If you are already working in the Azure cloud, go and check your subscription support plans. You can, everybody can check it. Whoever just have a connect permission to the subscription can check it what support model they are subscribed. In the real world, 99% people under premier support model only, because they wanted immediate resolutions, as well as they don't want any bill if they don't raise any case. Only it depends on the man hours. How many hours you are consuming from the Microsoft technician, based on that, you get the bill. You don't raise a case, you don't get the bill. You are raising too many cases, you get the more bill. So it's all directly proportional. How many hours of how much support you're taking, that much you paid. You're not taking anything, you don't get any bill. So it is good actually for the corporates especially. Right. So any questions on this anyone want to ask on the support plans? This is very important because you're also going to raise the cases when you face the issues, right? If you want to ask some question, ask me here. We will discuss. Right. If no one asking questions, so I feel like you understood about support plans. Fine. So now again, support plan. There is a question. Let me read out. Do we have to mention server details in the description to them? Yes, you have to. You have to. You have to raise. They know our servers identities in the background. They will identify some, some identities. So you have to give it to them. Yes, you can mention. There is no harm. Right. We know all support plans. You raised a case and you wanted to track it. You created a case with a Microsoft for some reason, and you wanted to track it. You can track it from here. Absolutely. Okay. Can track it and what is the status, who is working on it, technician, and all the updates you will get it from here. All support cases, whatever the cases you raised, the entire list will be shown here, and the status will tell you that, right? Assigned, unassigned, in progress, closed, and all that, right? You'll find it. This is something very important to know. Support. Then ask the community. Maybe you're getting a new project, you are yet to get, not yet implementing, but you wanted to get some direction. Ask the Azure community. There is a community where you can ask any question. Someone will definitely will answer from the Microsoft. They are not from the Microsoft. They are from the community. In fact, if you go to, come on, just a minute, it's hiding out. So if you go to example, just for the sake, I wanted to just show this. Uh, SQL connectivity issue something. Okay. If you go to the Microsoft, any of the blog, uh, resolving the connectivity issue, and any thought MS SQL tips, not here I guess. You will see Microsoft is paying for the people who are answering the blogs. Actually, you would have seen that points, right? MS SQL tips, no. Spotlight. Just wanted to show as an example. People whoever answer us, it's about the issues, not about the configuration actually. So it is not working. Something. I just wanted to show Microsoft will pay them, whoever actually answering it. Some blocks I wanted to. So db.com. Come on, I am not getting that blog. Here it is. Fine. If you see this one, there are points. See, Vignesh got 1299 points, basically 12.1. So community, basically, Microsoft is actually paying these people who are answering the question. If this is marked as an answered, this this fellow will get some points, and these points actually they can get it reimbursed from the Microsoft. This is in money, in fact. Microsoft will pay in dollars for answering the questions. Stack Overflow, if you look at this one, if you go to any issues under this one, if someone get marked your question as an answer, you get the money. It is a money basically for them. You see a 13.2k, this person earned 13.2k dollars, in fact it is, um, by answering the questions. So the same way, if you have some requirement, you wanted to, get the community help, you raise a case under the community, and someone will answer. If they're answering your question, what you have raised, they'll get the points. They get the credits. In fact, they can use that credits, reimburse the money, or they can create a just subscription, use that credits as creating the services, MSDN subscriptions. So this is something for the community. You wanted to ask a question to the community, you can ask within the portal itself. It will redirecting you to the portal, ask a question, and post your entire requirement. I'm getting this requirement. I'm not sure how do we approach to fulfill these requirements. Can anyone suggest me with a step-by-step approach to fulfill this requirement, kind of. So you can write a blog, you can write a question, someone will definitely will come back to you till you answer that question as answered. See, many people will answer your question, you did not satisfied. As long as you're not satisfied, you're not getting the correct answer, you don't make it as an answered. When you make it an answered, then it is closed, the thread will be closed generally. Okay, multiple people give the right solution, maybe you can mark them, all of them, as answered. So everybody, whoever got the answer, they'll get paid from the Microsoft because they gave you the service to you. You are the Microsoft. You're asking about the Microsoft, technical question, and someone answered. They are not from the Microsoft. They can be from anyone. You can you can register under this community. I have my account under this some community. Okay. If you someone raising a question, you have a time, go and answer on the blogs. You get the money for that. It is there. Microsoft is paying for the people who are not part of the Microsoft. Whoever is answering, they'll get the money. It's like that. There will become credits. They'll give it to you. If you really have a passion, you can go for it. Explore Azure documentation. There is a lot of documentation which you cannot even follow that easily. If I go to the database, let's see a lot of documentation. So for SQL database migration service, Postgres, Azure for MariaDB, MySQL, and Azure SQL. Click on this again. It will take you to a subcategory. Lot of documentation. In fact, they only cover configuration, not the troubleshooting. Mostly, not all the troubleshooting steps they don't cover. In any of the Microsoft documentation, they'll tell you the FAQs. They'll talk about how do you configure. That's it. The live issues they never discuss on the blogs, on their documentation. It's only what is what generally, but it's up to you how do you explore it. You have all the options in the portal, that's why I wanted to make you aware of it. Okay, then view billing FAQs, like you have any questions towards billing, so you have all the questions answered here. How you manage your account, how do I get the bill, how do I, there are a lot of questions. You go through it, it's up to your interest. So why I'm discussing all of this, you need to aware all of this before you work on this profile. You need to acquaint yourself how this portal can be managed first. Then I'll get into the technical, lot of technical, no need to worry. I'll discuss a lot of services. In fact, if you look at this, these are all big list. I'm going to cover almost all this what are in the list. Okay, but try to understand first how you can interact with the portal. This is what the first prerequisite, you must have it. Then we'll get into the technical side. Basically, visit quick start center is a new one. Create a web app. Okay, it is redirecting you to services. It seems like you can create a web app kind of quickly. This we don't want anyway. So what else is left here? Nothing else. Okay, so this is something useful, guys. I mean, when you want to use it. And feedback. So every day you can write your feedback about the portal experience. Like the phone to service is so good for us, and it saved a lot of time. We in the on-prem we had to do a lot of manual work. You write a good with a smiley symbol. You write a bad with a sad symbol. So you can write it here that we created a SQL database, and the database connectivities are breaking in between as intermediate issues, which is a bad experience, and client is keep escalating us, and this is a repeated issue. We are not seeing that this area is not improving in the Azure cloud. And you can write your own experience every day, and Microsoft will monitor every individual feedback. That's how they are growing it. So when you give your feedback, they'll get to know what you wanted, basically what market wanted. So the feedback is like seriously monitored by the Microsoft, every individual feedback. We have a lot of bugs in the portal. I'm going to talk about serious bugs. In fact, like you can delete a database from the SMS without we will talk about, I mean, there are very huge bugs which are not resolved yet in the portal. And I'm going to tell you a lot of bugs. In fact, the portal still has a very huge bugs, and where you need to aware of. Without, if you work on it, you will be under disaster. We will talk about that just a minute. Right, so it is up to you. You want to write the feedback every day or every 1 hour also you can write, but your feedback will be considered and they will be reviewed, and they don't acknowledge that they have reviewed your feedback. It is for them. What your experience you're writing, and they look at it for sure. And sometimes they do get the new ideas by looking at the feedback itself. Why? Because people wanted something and which they don't have, and they get the idea, they'll work on it. That way, that is the reason it is a treasure. The feedback is treasure for any company, anyone, any business, in fact, to grow, because they wanted to know what is of flaws they have, what is good, what is bad. Then only they can move ahead. The same thing. So it's up to you whether you want to write it or not. Then this is your account details, basically. What is the account you subscribed and all that, right? Then come this side we finished this part. I have skipped it for now, because this will come in the respective models. It's a big topics, basically. You can create your own directory, you can switch it to any directory. In fact, how do you create, how do you migrate, we will see that. This is a cloud shell. Cloud shell by default is not enabled, you have to enable it. Okay, and when do we enable, what reason we need it, we're going to talk about with the practical implementation. So this is something big topics, I cannot get into that right now. Let's move towards this. So this top bar is over. You know everything what each useful. This will also get to know down the line. Create a resource. Under this service, the services are categorized. If I wanted a database related services, I'll click on the database itself. I don't want to search for it. Azure SQL database, Azure managed instance, all services are categorized. If I want to compute VM creation related, virtual machine skill set, Kubernetes, function app. So anything that you wanted to look at, it is categorized already, the services. You don't need to search for. Okay. You can click on this, you can create a virtual machine from there straight away. Right. So quick create, this is also quick create, will guide you through the services with the categorized services. If you want database only. DevOps, all DevOps services are listed here. All DevOps people do work as DevOps. Their services are loaded here. Identity management related. So all identity management, integrated relation, third-party tools also integrated here. So we're going to cover this Azure AD domain services anyway in our discussions. So identity, this is identity services related. So whom, see here in the real world as a SQL DBA, you get the limited privilege. You cannot create a network. You cannot create a subnet as a SQL DBA. You can read it, but you cannot create it. How do I get that restriction? That comes under identity management in the portal. We're going to discuss that when we go to that side, not now, because we can restrict at every layer that you wanted. Every service has the identity management integrated. You wanted only one server to be accessed, all servers to be accessed, all resource groups, all subscriptions. We will talk about in all directions. Okay, leave that part for now. Permission side. Anyway, this quick create, I don't use it personally. We will talk about all services. This is very important. Anything, see here, if I look at here, there are a lot of services under my favorite. This favorites, you see this one? There are a lot of services I can see here. So these services did not added on their own. I have added. I build my own favorites. Why did I build my favorites? Because I do interact with these services every day. too frequently used services, you will add to your own favorites. You have to build your own favorites basically. Those favorites will be shown ready-made. You don't need to search for it. I have the virtual machine, SQL database, SQL servers, and all these services which I frequently access. I don't need to go to create or find it or go to quick service or find it. I don't want all the time, because I know that these are the services my profile going to deal with, and I'm going to keep all of them under my favorites and access them as I'm working it. Click on this and work on it kind of. So how do I build this? That's what is the topic. All services. Come here, all services. You click on here, click on SQL because you are SQL DBA. What are the services you wanted to add to your favorites? Just place the cursor here. Sorry guys. Place the cursor here. You see this star with a blue filled here, right? Blue filled. It means that the service is there in your favorites. Here it's blue filled star. If I go to this one, is it there in my favorite? Yes, it is there. How do I say it is blue filled star? If I go to this one, I still have it. This one, I don't have it. How do I say I don't have it? The star is telling me. The empty star. Empty star will tell you that this service is not in your list. Okay, this service. If I go to the virtual machine example, just for the case, so it is giving you all the services which are starting the virtual. So is it there in my favorites? Yes. Is it there? Yes. And is it there? Come on. If I look at, is it there in my favorites? No. If I wanted to add it to my favorites, what should I do? I had to go to here. I click on the star. Once you click on the star, it will get added at the bottom of your list, Azure Virtual Desktop. So adding it is so simple basically. Place the cursor on the service and go to the star and which service you wanted to add it to favorites. Click on that service. It will get added at the bottom of it. And then rearrange. If you are accessing too frequently, make it at the top, right? This way you can rearrange the services. You can add it, you can rearrange. So look at this and tell me, is it there in my favorites? It's a question. Is it there? Is this service is there in my favorites or not? No. Why no? Because it's an empty star. If it is a blue filled star, it is there in your favorites. You don't need to search for it. Is there in your favorites here. You already added that service as part of your favorites so that you can quickly access it. So this way, you have to build your own favorite services to use on day-to-day basis. All services is the one through which all services only you can build your favorites, basically. Okay, you can build your own favorites using all services only. In fact, now if I wanted to, if I wanted to access anything, if I don't want, I can even search for it here also. Like anything that I wanted to go with SQL, I find the service, I'll go to here, I'll create it. But rather you go to every time and search for it, you add it to your favorites. That way you can straight away access it and start working on that, right? That's something you need to know. Then home is something. This is a home page for your portal when you logged in. This is not a dynamic page. It's just a static page which will give you or show you some services here. Anyway, some services as a predefined list. But dashboard is something dynamic. You can make it, you can add your meaningful dashboards as required. So I'll delete some dashboards to create some. The last dashboard you cannot delete. There will be an error. You cannot delete the last dashboard. I wanted to create a new dashboard. Click on this. Okay, blank dashboard. It will take you new dashboard creation. So I generally keep multiple dashboards in my personal subscription where I work, in the company. So here, this is one of the dashboard. I'll keep it time zones and SQL monitoring. I can give it some name to it. Okay, SQL monitoring and time zone. So basically, you work for different clients in the real world, right? So add it. Multiple clients. I work for three different time zones. Same client, but three different time zones. These services are available. So I need to make. So if you go to here, I'll make it. Okay, let me save this one. As soon as I save it looks like this. Time zone and SQL monitoring. I'll go to here and edit the time. I'll edit the time the client where client is sitting basically, right? So I can pick up anything just for the case. So maybe Arjuna, you are supporting it 7:33 p.m. right? This is what is going on at the moment. It is a AM, it is a PM. So when I have to work for this particular time zone services, downtime I know. So I cannot convert every time the time zone. So I have the time zone on my dashboard. Look at the time dashboard and then work on it kind of. So you just pick up anything random. So you can pick up your own all the time zone that you are supporting the clients. Someone a question? Okay, someone is not unmute. Mohammed, you have a
Ravi,
question? Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, Ravi. For creating these dashboards, also we need to pay.
No. It's not a payable service. It is free. One of the service for
Okay.
yourself. It is information. It's not any. It is not giving any technical services for us. It is a information for us. It's tracking. It is not chargeable.
Mm-hmm.
This is not chargeable.
Okay. Only
Uh,
whenever we are.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, when you are working with for multiple different time zones, this would really help you. Why? Because you cannot go to every day and then convert time zone and work on it, right? That's something unnecessary effort. So keep when you keep your time zone ready on the dashboard, look at the dashboard and work on it, kind of thing. That way it'll help.
Okay.
Clear,
Okay.
right?
Fine.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's create some services and look at it how it works. So to create any service, first you need two things, in fact. One is I'll cover this tomorrow again, but anyway, just quickly. So you need to have a subscription, activated subscription first. This is a mandatory thing. Next one, resource group. These two are the minimum things you must have it. Else, you cannot create any service without activated subscription, uh, without one resource group, basically. You must have it. Without that, creating is not possible. So quickly, let's work on this. First, you must have a subscription, activated subscription. In fact, this is a prerequisite, activated subscription, and the resource group. These are all two mandatory things. Resource group. Then resources. Every service is a resource or service, basically. Resources, we'll call it resources or services. Anything you talk about database, you talk about anything, a resource or service. So first thing you need to have is a activated subscription to create a service, and the resource group and the services under it. This is a minimum hierarchy. These two are the minimum. Then only you can create a service. So now if I go to here under resource group, I do have a resource group. If I wanted to create a new resource group, I can create it on the fly. Subscription I have it already, so pay as you go. So I'm going to create a test RG resource group, test RG, and the region where you wanted to create. The region always nearest to your operations center, generally. Whatever the region you define, generally. If I'm working in India, I'm creating this service in the US, it doesn't make sense because it has to travel through a lot. It's the other side of the globe, right? US and India is the other side, so quite opposite. So every connection is going through that far and get fetching the data. So you must create the services nearest to operation center. This anyway will be defined during the initial phase of your project itself. You don't worry, you don't create any resource groups yourself as a DBA. Resource groups will be created. So I'm going to create West India, which is near to us, for me especially. So I'm creating it. I created a test RG resource group. Now, if I want to create a virtual machine, I'm not finishing anything. Today is just information only. Keep it as information. Tomorrow, I'll get into every like option that you see in depth. Like you definitely need to know all of that. So for now, I'll just create a VM. Okay. See here, you must pick up your subscription, you must pick up your resource group, then give the resource details. It is a mandatory thing. Without these two, you cannot create any service, in fact, in the cloud. Now, here virtual machine name SQL VM01. Just for the sake, I'm going to talk about the naming standards tomorrow. If you are creating any service, that need to follow certain naming standards, it's mandatory. If it doesn't follow the naming standard, it will be a problematic thing. Okay. Then availability set is a big discussion for us. It is a very important point for protection of the VM. We will talk about. So quickly, I'll go through this. And tomorrow, I'll talk about every single option that we have technically. Okay. Today is informative, so that's why I don't want to get into the technical discussion. Tomorrow, anyway, we will go through it. And here, there are a lot of like operating systems are available. If you go to all C images, it will take you through a lot of images, in fact. So what image you want to see? Very huge list of images you have it. And the Red Hat Linux side, you have only one, you have only one here, multiple. So each, these are all these many operating systems you have it. CentOS you wanted, CentOS 6.7.6 or 7.5, you have every operating system you can select as per your requirement. Okay, this I'll talk about tomorrow. So I'll pick up Windows Server 2019 and one CPU, 1 GB RAM. So which family you had to choose? Which size you wanted to choose? There is a family of computers basically. So there is a general purpose computers and memory optimized computers, compute optimized computers, storage optimized computers. So each one has its own meaning in the background basically. Okay, memory optimized, general purpose, compute optimized. Okay, they have each one has different meaning in the in the background. So we need to know about it. So we will talk about that tomorrow, not now. So I'll use this quickly, or else I'll use the smallest one for now. And one login must be there on the VM. Just I'll quickly create, guys, rather than explaining, because tomorrow we are going to run through all of this in detail. So I'm quickly creating a VM. So what is this and all that we'll see in the tomorrow class. Don't worry. I don't skip anything. Whatever you see here, we will go through in practical, in deep about everything. You don't worry. So I'm creating a VM quickly with the default values. You should not create a VM like this. You have to follow certain standards. But anyway, I'm not following the standard for now. I'm just creating it. So creation of any service will be shown on top of your bell symbol. Okay. So if you go to here, there is a bell symbol. Deployment is in progress. So any service that get deployed or provisioned, it goes through three stages, in fact. One is initialization, submission, deployment. So I would have shown that was top bar was blocking anyway. We will see that tomorrow. So now the service is going under deployment. It might take some time to come online. It is a small machine. This would take some time. So this is where you track it. You created a service. It is under provision. Is it online or not? You will find under bell symbol. That's how it is. Let this get created. Then we'll come to the RDP and we'll see basic information, at least basic information. Yeah, we will wait for that to come online. It is a small one which would take time actually. That something won't come online because many people will create that service. It is a demand and supply also. If more people are serving or provisioning the same service, it will delay. You cannot expect every service to come online instantly, but some services can be more of frequent. When people create that, services will be little delayed. You have to be little patient there. So all services won't come quickly. Sometimes they do come quickly, sometimes it takes time. Depends on the demand, people provisioning that service in the region. So it is small one everyone will create. All free subscription people will create, and your request will queued up, and your queue will be cleared when the existing things are done. When it is a paid service, it will be less basically. That's what. So it's a free VM I built out. It took It will take time. Anyway, I'll scale it to the better one. How do I scale it? I'll talk about. Scaling a VM means giving more resources to the VM on the fly. No capacity planning you have to perform. Depends on the requirement, you can find it. So how do we know that VM is not scaling with the load? How do you know? Basically, you look at the disk, IO statistics, you look at the memory pressure, you look at the CPU signal rates. These statistics will tell you that the VM is under pressure or not at the high level. What is using to create that issue is a different story. But the VM is actually scaling with the load or not, we can easily find. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. Not now, but quickly. If you wanted to know VM is good or not in terms of load, as the what is the load is going on, is it really serving well or not, we can easily find it. That comes in the tomorrow class. Anything that we deploy is related to live. I always relate to live, just follow it, because you have to work in the live after the class. Just passing the exam doesn't much help you out. You have to support the environment, right? That's where you need to focus, and I'll focus there. Come on. Right, it is loaded. It is smallest to tiny VM. That's why it takes time also to load, because one CPU, 1 GB RAM, uh, the OS loading itself will take almost 900 MB. So you can see this VM. Come on. Right. If I go to here, if I check the server configuration, um, it has only one CPU, 1 GB RAM. One CPU, 1 GB RAM. So it is up to 95% already, because the base OS image itself will take that RAM, of course. So this is not scaling. Anyway, this is the usual thing. But when we create a big machine, how do we know that is it really not scaling or not? We will see that tomorrow. I'm going to cover up. So now I wanted to scale this VM. Scaling the VM needed downtime. It need a restart of the VM. I need two CPUs, 4 GB RAM instead one CPU, 1 GB RAM. I'll go to the VM on which I wanted to make it, the next level of the configuration. Go to the size. Okay, change the next size. Two CPUs, 4 GB RAM. See here, and then resize. When you resize, the machine will get rebooted, and then it happens within a minute generally. But it is a small VM, so maybe many people, let's say, how long it takes. It should not take too long. So you submitted resizing. See, every action you submit, you will find the status of that action under the bell symbol, notification, basically. Everything you do, and it will record in the more events. So more events, if you look at here, who did this? You created a VM, you're updating the VM, who did this at what time. It is clearly loaded the details here. Okay, if you click on this, create a virtual machine on this one so time, this guy is loaded. So you created VM, you delete a VM, you update a VM, everything is loaded and everything can be traceable, every single action. It's simple to catch who did what. Anyway, we did not go towards any technical, guys. I gave the information only today. Tomorrow we will get into the technical side. Yes, all the discussions about what we're going to do tomorrow onwards is absolutely workshops. So follow it. Very, very careful from tomorrow onwards, because every class is going to go in a different discussion sites. See, a small VM is not responding to reset. It won't take resizing a virtual machine is a minute task generally, but it is small VM, so it takes time. Tomorrow I'll build bigger machines. You see that actions will be too fast than this. Still doing the job. 2 minutes ago. 2 minutes happened already, past 2 minutes already. It's taking too long. Generally, resizing won't take this long. It's a small VM, a tiny VM. Maybe it is not that service is not responding well. That did not design well. That means as it is free. Yes, yes, yes. You need a virtual VM contributor role. Um, there will be roles, guys. If you go to the resource group, if I wanted to create a VM under the resource group, you go to the resource group. There is something called IAM role. Under IAM role, you must be given a role called virtual machine contributor on this one for your account. Else you cannot create a VM. So at the resource group level, virtual machine contributor. This is the role you must get it. Right. This one. To create a VM, you must have this role. This role. We'll talk about the roles. No need to worry. We have a discussion. As a SQL DBA, what are the list of privileges we need to have to work on SQL side, VM side, but taking the backup into the storage side. So we're going to talk about all that areas. I'm going to touch base everything, no need to worry. As a SQL DBA, you get to know even networking side, VM side, storage side, identity management side, along with the all DRs, best practices, and security compliances, cost optimizations, and technologies that you have on-prem, and how do create the same technology as an alternate solution. We're going to see all of that, guys. Come on, this is taking 4 minutes. It's very bad. Hmm. What happened to this VM? It reflected here. It is saying it is updating. Hmm. Come on. It should not take this long, for sure. Don't worry. If I would have taken 2 CPs, 4 GB RAM, if we would have resized it, then it could have, created so quickly. I mean, resized so quickly. The small VM, it is a free structured VM. That's why they did not work on that well, it seems. It won't take that long. 5 minutes is absolutely not the case for resizing a VM. Just a minute task. What I wanted to show is I resized it. I'll connect to the VM. In the VM you will find 2 CPs, 4 GB RAM because you scaled up. You wanted to scale down, scale up. Anything can be done. Maybe a VM is given over resources and they are not at all getting utilized, and you are unnecessarily paying it. You wanted to scale it down, right? So how do you scale it down? The same thing. Go to the size and select the required size and resize. That's it. So again, I wanted to come back and resize. We'll come back to 1 CP, 1 GB RAM. So, but whether the current VM size is really scaling with the workload or not, how do we identify? That I'll talk tomorrow. We'll see that. So this is all about today, guys. I mean, this is taking unnecessary time, but anyway, we will see that. So, any questions from today's discussion from the informative side? Anyway, technically, we'll move from tomorrow. Don't create the subscription today. I'll tell you when to create because we get into the practicals. Tomorrow we'll go through all the standards, especially to build a VM. There are a lot of standards to follow. I'll talk about all the standards. Day after tomorrow we'll deploy a technically VM and then start working on services, associated services. It'll go step by step. So any questions from today's discussion? Anyone want to ask? Please go ahead. If not, I'll stop the video.